Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 330, recorded live on Friday, March 28th. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week we have Ecgric from Premium Perspective.
Hello.
This week's screenshot, Melee decides to protect the entrance to the Spinner of Shadows. That's the 165th screenshot. It's a very ominous, dark-looking, fun screenshot. I rather like it.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool.
We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Google Plus Hangouts, YouTube, or from our website at DDOCast.com. DDOCast is hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network. Shows are usually available within a few days of recording on various podcast streams. The next show will probably be, it might be a recorded show. I'm still trying to figure it out, but it'll have something out for next weekend. You can stay updated by following us on our social media pages or our website, DDOcast.com. We also have a counter there that you can actually subscribe to. You can even get it on your phone if you want. Just kind of keep up to date and stuff. It also has, if you haven't looked at it before, it has store sales listed on there, and then also bonus days. I try and keep those updated as much as I can, and I usually throw in some stuff if there's extra events going on. I didn't throw in the anniversary cards, although I would usually do something like that. So other events and sales and limited time sales and all that stuff. So a good way to keep in touch with all of that stuff as well. On the podcast this week, we're going to have a discussion on ways to get the most out of a free-to-play and premium account, a topic very suited for Ecgric, our guest here. We'll start with the game news. First thing on the list was there was an update from the Players Council. I don't know if you looked through it, Ecgric.
I skimmed over it briefly, didn't get much out of it.
Yeah, I kind of did the same. It was mostly people giving positive feedback about giving feedback on very early DDO direction and design, things that they're kind of looking at. A lot of stuff that's kind of in paper space, not even programmed at all yet, just stuff they're thinking about. But there's also some questions about how much of an impact they're actually going to have. But most people seem to be enjoying the experience, at least. So hopefully they'll have a pretty good impact on the game. Like to see that. There was a note about Divine Sphere changes. They said, thanks for continued feedback. In the interest of transparency, we're nearing the point where some changes may be difficult to get it in for release. As we try to ensure that what we have is working and bug-free as possible, rather than introducing new things. But we're going to schedule a review of the Divine Sphere to see what changes can and should be done, and sooner rather than later, although that may still mean the next update. They're also at the point where it's hard to say what will fit into the time we have, because while fixing bugs increases in priority, it can simultaneously be difficult to estimate both what bugs will continue to be found and how long it will take to fix them. They're glad to see some items are considered desirable enough to make for interesting build decisions. So that's some good news. And they're doing a lot of work on it. But what we see at this point may pretty much be what we get down the road. But we'll see. There's still a little bit of time to do some changes, but we'll see how much they can get and how much they feel they need to do. But it's good that they're going to kind of have a little bit of time later to kind of look at things there. There are some new forum avatars, which we'll link to in the show notes if you want to change your forum avatar, some of the new stuff. I did see that there was a vampiric ham to go with vampiric broccoli. I don't know if you saw anything that kind of caught your eye there.
I saw, I think Jerry tweeted about vampiric ham.
There was an update on the player character balance from Vargwil. I said, my apologies, I still don't have an extremely substantial post to give right at this moment because his brain is melting, but he's caught up on every post in the thread at that point so far. We have a lot to say. You don't need to repeat yourself in the hopes that we'll see it because he's reading every single post. He will neither confirm nor deny some amount of so-called skimming that may occur when I see a specific poster making a post that starts off sounding very similar to other posts by that poster. Which would be fair. Next steps, they are soon going to try to summarize what he feels we have said. He has 9 pages of notes, which is a fairly large number. It serves multiple purposes, including sorting the information out in his own head, telling you guys what we're all collectively at, and sending around to the rest of the DDO development team for those who are not so crazy as to try to read this entire thread. He'll do his best to give some amount of developer comments as well, but the bulk of that might need to follow later. There were some great individual posts, and some of his notes actually say go back and read again for some good thoughts. Lots of good thoughts for everyone. Thanks. There are clear patterns, many of which help reinforce what we already thought was going on, but it's extremely helpful to us to hear it from you, and some occasional surprises. There were a few ideas he personally hadn't seen before that were quite interesting and could end up making it into DDO. He also said thanks for filling out the surveys. He knows it's not a perfect survey, not extensive, but that was by design, as they didn't want to waste anyone's time. For example, they knowingly left out races and didn't want the survey to get to individual abilities. So there we go. Let's see. The single laser-focused item for preview of the summary of the thread, Melee and Epic Elite probably need some help. There's many possible ways to come at this problem while trying to address other issues as well. Identifying problems now, solutions later. Let's see. Oh, he also wanted to say that there was one item that came up a few times that makes it clear some players have the wrong idea. Balance is definitely not about making many different play styles or classes or epic destinies, etc. play the same. Balance is about making many different play styles viable. So us, the players, can feel like there are as many legitimate options as we can possibly get. The greatest concern they have, and a major driver of the discussion, is right now the worry that there are not so many legitimate playstyles as we could be getting. So that's just kind of a summary of, well, not so much of a summary, but that's kind of what's going on in there. You have any thoughts about player-character balance, Ecgric?
Well, I hadn't looked too much at the thread when I first, I just read the opening post on it and really got thinking, DDO, it's based on the original game of Dungeons & Dragons, which the whole concept of it was to not have the characters balance as in being able to play against each other, because the whole purpose is every character class is, well, most character classes are supposed to help balance out the weaknesses of the others, and you group together.
Yeah, that's kind of the general theory behind how D&D works. One section I kind of skimmed over that I want to make sure I get in here too. He did say that none of the reactions to this are necessarily going to be imminent, and he wants to assuage any fear that this post was in direct preparation for incoming nerfs. That's not the case. They haven't really gotten very far. They're just getting some initial feedback kind of thing. Update 21 patch 1 is on the menu for round 2. Just kind of some highlights from what's new in the release notes. Both of the new raids now have lockout mechanisms. They're not immediate, and in fact, the Shadow Dragon raid, it's a fair distance into the raid. You can look up there for more specific points about that. The Phlogiston drop rate has been raised on Epic Hard, and you now get them at 100% of the time on Epic Elite, which is good because you need about 30 of them to upgrade your stuff. Uncommon augments will now function correctly in Kenneth crafted items. The Dwarven Craft focus, this is actually a little bit of a bug. It was giving a +2 equipment bonus, and rather than change that, they decided to keep it that way, but upgrade it to +3. And existing items should have that change as well, so it should be retroactive. There's also, if you take an exclusive item out of the shared bank when you have another of the same exclusive item in your inventory, it no longer causes the banked item to be destroyed, which is very good. There was a bug found with the dodge feat. Vargul spoke with the engineer who looked at the bug, and this is 99.9% only a display issue, along with a tiny unintended nerf. Essentially, there's an unintended floating point math is resulting in some stuff happening. Basically, dodge is supposed to give a dodge bonus of 3%. Right now, it's giving 2.999999% dodge. And that is, in fact, the exact count of significant digits. He's told that this should be fixed in an upcoming patch. I did get some unconfirmed reports that if you do complete at least the 20th completion of the Shadow Dragon raid, you do get a special reward list. And it was reported to me that You get each of the 3 raid items, or the choice of each of the 3 raid items. Also in that choice list is 10 Phlogstons, or 1,000 combinations of Valor, which is a pretty fair number, and would be very, if you had everything else, it would be very helpful towards getting an epic heart, that's for sure. Bonus days for the weekend, you can get a 15% guild renown through March 30th. And then it was also announced that anniversary cards will run through April 6th. That's when you will no longer be able to roll the dice. You will still be able to crunch the cards in your card cruncher after that date. Store news, a bunch of sales this week. The Evening Star Challenge Pack is 20% off. The Vaults of the Artificers is 20% off. Races and classes are 20% off. Iconic Heroes are 20% off, and I believe that is the first time they have been on sale. You can also get Universal Challenge tokens and tools at 20% off, and a stack of 50 Omni Spell Dust with the code OMNI27. It's 1 per account. So some nice deals there, and we'll kind of talk about some of that later. Community news this week, the 86th iteration of the Chronicle. Enrique opens the cookie jar in a new blog post. Arian is chronicling the adventures of a permadeath group, which is pretty fun. The guild for the week is the Guardians of Honor, a Galanda-based guild, level 41, looking for players to join them. The guild is looking for players who know most quests and are willing to contribute to daily renown, and they run epic elite content with other guildies. The comment for the week, do beholders ever need glasses? If so, how would that work, Ecgric?
I would think yes as they get older, but really all they need is like a monocle just for the main eye. Obviously be a big one, and I guess they could just like kind of hook that over the top.
I was thinking monocles and monocles and more monocles, just one for each eye. Just cover all the bases. Let's see. DO Gamer got a shout out for their fastest fists in the West build. Jeff was kind of focusing on getting pretty much as much double strike and speed as he could out of unarmed combat. We got a shout out for our Crucible tutorial that we did with Jerry on their Twitch feed as well. So if you want to look at, so you can look at our view, my perspective when we ran Crucible from DDOCast, then on DDO Twitch you can get Jerry's version, Jerry's view. Let's see. I think that was pretty much everything I want to cover out of the Chronicle. On DDO Twitch, Jerry did do Harbinger of Madness on, I believe, Galanda, although I'm not positive on that. And then they also today had a preview of the Divine Crusader. I didn't get a chance to watch that. Have you seen it at all?
No, I haven't. I generally don't get to watch these until a few days later.
Yeah, they just released the Divine Crusader preview this afternoon. So, blogs this week, I wanted to highlight Samus Grobo's blog. He was doing a random encounter thing and seeing if people want to do some of that some more. Basically, what he did is he proposed a random encounter and then gave you kind of the situation of what you had to roll. And what your options were and what happened, and if you succeeded or failed, depending on how you failed, you got some XP. He was kind of looking to see if more people wanted to be doing that. Jerry is checking to see if people are interested in a meet and greet for PAX East. PAX East is in Boston on April 11th through the 13th. So that's coming up. There will be a big Infinite Crisis party, but they're not doing a general Turbine Games-wide official party this year. That said, he'd like to do an informal meet and greet on Friday evening for DDO folks to get together for fun. There wouldn't be free food or beverages, and there may be some swag, basically whatever he carry. What he's looking for is to see how many people would be interested in hanging out on Friday evening. So he set up a poll in the forums that you can kind of respond to that if you're going to be in the area for PAX East. The High Lords of Malkir will be hosting another teaching raid on Sarlona. This week's raid is Caught in the Web. It'll be Saturday, March 29th at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the PM. So you can check that out. This will be their 7th consecutive week running public training raids, and they've been really well received. So they've reached out to the community and brought some shy types and new players into the raiding scene, and every raid has had from 3 to 7 new people in them. It's the 9th raid that they're doing. A couple weeks they did 2 raids, and they're probably going to start the series over again. So that was from Ginger's Spice on Shona. So I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you don't get hit with the lag monster there. Caught in the Web can do that to you if you're not careful. And then I also wanted to remind folks that we are still doing our 50-50 card raffle. What you do is you send me cards on the servers from servers that you don't want cards on. You just send them to DDOCast1. That's the character name in the mail, and you give me your character name and your server name. And each card you send is one raffle ticket. And at the end of the event, since the cards end on April 6th, we'll probably wait a few days after that. So I'll probably draw on April 9th or 10th, somewhere around there. And then I'll pick probably a couple winners from each server, and they will get a pile of cards to do with as they please. I'm also drawing some point codes and some Snowy Owlbear codes as part of that as well. So we'll link to the thread that you can get all the information you might need on that. I think that's all the news, unless there's something you wanted to bring up this week.
No, I just wanted to say I think your 50-50 raffle is a really good idea. I've been saving up my cards. I'm going to send them all to you at the end.
Yeah, it was a great idea, but as Jerry pointed out beforehand, when I was checking to make sure it'd be something to be okay to do, it is a lot of bookkeeping. There's probably something like, I think about 70 people have sent cards at this point, and I think the total, this is across all the servers, but the total kitty as of yesterday, because I haven't checked today yet, was somewhere around 3,900 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of folks giving out some cards, or giving some cards for that. If you're on Wayfinder, man, take part in this because there's only like 2 people playing from Wayfinder. Which is kind of to be expected. It's one of the smaller servers around, but
yeah,
so,
Wayfinder is my static group. Hardly ever see anybody else.
Yeah, but I want to say thanks to everyone who's playing, and I hope good luck and all this stuff. And thanks for the well wishes in doing it too. I get a lot of really positive feedback from it, so that's really encouraging. So I think with that, let's start talking about our roundtable today. What we're going to talk about is how to maximize free-to-play and premium accounts. So maybe Ecgric, why don't you just tell us what's the difference between what is a free-to-play account, what's a premium account, and what are the limitations you get with both of those?
Well, my understanding, DDO is rather unique among MMOs because it's really the only place where you've got the option of having free, premium, or VIP, which is subscription. And well, I've experienced all 3 of them actually now because I started off free to play, waited a few months before I decided to upgrade to premium account, and back in December I've upgraded to VIP. So I've got experience with all of it now. But the biggest difference is you've got kind of, if you look at what free to play and premium is versus VIP, is VIP, it's a regular subscription, whether it's a monthly, quarterly that you pay, and varies, and that gives you access to several benefits that as free-to-play or premium you do not have. That's probably where the biggest difference is between being a VIP or the others. VIP, you get all of the adventure packs for free, except for those that were considered the expansion packs. And you get the ability to immediately go in first time on any quest up to elite. You don't have, whereas with free or premium, you have to go first time running through. You go through normal, then you go through hard, then you go through elite. There's ways around that though. Let's see, VIP gets an extra 10% XP bonus on quests. And that's the only one that gets that. Uh,
They also run faster in public areas.
mm,
VIPs, I think VIPs get to run a little faster in public areas, something like that. I remember seeing that a ways back.
I hadn't noticed a difference.
I didn't really either.
So, I don't know, maybe it's a 5% difference, who knows? um, now, I believe I've read, but I haven't really experienced it, that there's, when it comes to the login queues, I guess what it is if the login queues get bogged down, VIPs get preference for getting logged in. So if you ever get a message saying waiting to log in, VIP, you get through quicker.
Although I think part of that is, in theory, VIPs get access to the servers first if the server actually ever was full.
Yeah, and that's
Which,
probably what it is. They're pretty good with not getting them full.
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a server full. So
Yeah. In my, I think 5 years now of playing DDO, I think I've had one time I ever saw it actually say queuing up to log in, and it lasted like 10 seconds.
I think did you mention character counts or number of characters you can have?
Now, I was getting to that one. With free to play, you get 2 characters. VIP, you get 4, and I'm sorry, premium you get 4. VIP, you get 10. And that's your base, but you can buy more character class or character slots.
Awesome. I think
Uh,
that pretty much covers everything. Is there anything else to add between the differences?
um, there's differences on the amount of money you can have. You're actually, like a platinum that your character can carry. Um, I don't remember the details on it. I believe it's free accounts have a limit based on the character's class. I don't think the limit applies to premium. I know it doesn't apply to VIP. It's just like doesn't matter what level you are, there is a maximum. I think it's around 4.3 million or something.
Something around there, yeah.
Yeah,
Regardless of what kind of character, that's the most plat they let you have.
right.
I'd be curious to know if there's actually a reason for that number.
It has to do with the programming aspect of it. There's because of the type of variable they use to store that number. It's limited to a certain maximum within the computer.
Fair enough. So let's talk about things. If you're a free to play or a premium, let's talk about things that you probably need to buy or are very strongly encouraged for you to buy.
Yes. Well, as far as stuff you need to buy, you really need to get adventure packs because I mean, yes, there is quite a bit of free quests you can do, but you're really limiting yourself a lot if you don't get some adventure packs. Now, of course, it is possible to actually earn some of these adventure packs, and we can talk about that a little later. But yeah, you definitely want to get adventure packs. Um,
And there's certain adventure packs. I mean, let's just talk about buying adventure packs really quick.
sure.
There's certain packs that you're probably not going to want to invest money in. People don't run them very often. Um, you know, there's other packs that people are always running those packs. They're very good. They have a very high number of XP per minute quests or some stuff like that. So
Yeah,
without getting into too big of a discussion about what content to buy, watch the LFM, see what people are running constantly. Um,
yeah, that's a good thing is to pay attention through the LFMs what people are running, and spend your turbine points on the adventure packs that you see people running versus others. I know, for low level ones, and this one's kind of a matter of you either love it or hate it, and it's the uh, Dryden,
Catacombs?
the catacombs. Yeah, that's it. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name, but yeah, catacombs. It's people either love it or hate it. More people seem to hate it.
If you know how to do it quickly, it can be a pretty good pile of XP. Some other packs that are good purchases, the Veil of Twilight pack. and Giant Hold are two packs that I would strongly recommend. They're some of the pricier
Mhm.
packs, but they do have a lot of quests, raids, a lot of content.
Yeah. Well, another thing to think about is there are some adventure packs that are um, that have the epic versions with them as well. So just by the nature of that, those are probably going to be more valuable to you because you can like Giant Hold is you've got both heroic and epic on those, so you can run it more to get the XP out of it.
And it's a pile of quests too, so there's a lot of quests in there. I think there's what 10 quests plus a raid. Well,
Sounds about right.
two raids, one at heroic, one at epic, and all 10 of the quests can be run at heroic and epic, so it's a good buy. Um,
Yeah.
see, other things you might need to buy. Classes, some classes and races you can only get by purchasing them or by being VIP. Um, some classes you actually don't even have available as a VIP. I believe the Artificer I know is one of them. I don't
Yeah, there's
remember Flavored Soul if it's free or not.
well, favored soul.
I think you have to
I
get the favor
think
for it, even if you're
you either
VIP.
get the favor or buy it, even if you're VIP. Let me see if I can check that real quick on the DDO wiki here. Yes, another tip for you. This is for anybody. Make sure you find the DDO wiki online.
Yeah, you can get a lot of information there. As far as races go, I think all the races, if you are VIP, you have access to, except for the iconic races, um,
Yes.
which you have to either buy an expansion pack or buy through the store. Um, see, let's also talk about the shared bank, because the only way you can get that is by buying it. It's not something you necessarily have to get, but I would strongly recommend it. It's
Strongly recommend. Yes.
Yeah, it's the only way you can pass stuff that's bound to account between your characters. Uh,
Uh,
you can't
Not
do
well. It's the only way you can safely do it.
well, but the shard house, you can pass bound to character on equip items on the shard house, but you can't pass bound to account items on the shard house.
Right. That's yeah.
So the only way that you get
That's right.
bound to account items from one
Yeah.
character to another is through the shared bank.
Right.
Which you
That's
will
right.
probably, if you play a long time, you will probably want to do it. So, it's
Yeah.
not actually an early investment you need to make, but long term, if you're going to play the game a long time, you're going to want to make that investment at some point.
Yeah. Well, that would probably be, I would say that's the first thing that I purchased other than an adventure pack was the share bank.
Yeah, and there's multiple upgrades to it too. You don't necessarily need to upgrade it all the way. It depends on how much you use it and how many points you have. But definitely at least get the first share, which I think is 30 slots, 40 slots, somewhere.
20.
20? It's only 20?
20. It's
Wow.
only 20.
That doesn't go very far. But still, you can, and some tips to use that. A lot of the bound
It
account
goes enough when you make a mule.
Yeah, bound account stuff is typically you might want to pass around ingredients are a big one, which you can put a bag full of bound account ingredients in that shared bank. So that's a good way to go.
Yes.
So let's talk about stuff that you don't necessarily need to buy. And a lot of these things a lot of stuff you can get for favor rewards. The one note of that is that if you get it through favor, it only counts for that server. It doesn't work for other servers.
Yeah, good example would be the Artificer. If you unlock the Artificer through favor, then if you manage to get that favor on, say, Galanda, then you can play the Artificer on Galanda, but you can't play it on any other server. Whereas if you buy the Artificer out of the DDO store, then you can play the Artificer on any server.
Yeah, and just so you know, so what you need for Artificer is 150 Cannith favor, which, as you noted, you must buy the House Cannith packs. I think you need to get both the Secrets of the Artificer's Adventure pack, which is 3 quests and 2 raids, and you also need to get the Challenge pack for the Vaults of the Artificers.
There's no free-to-play quests that give you the House Kenneth favor. And now, I got some conflicting information. The challenge pack for Vaults of the Artificer. I saw one thing saying it gives you 126 favor, but then on the other hand, Secrets of the Artificer, I added it up, you get 99 favor out of the adventure pack. I saw something saying the maximum total favor for the Artificers is 252, so something's not adding up.
It's a little tricky. If you need to get at least the challenge pack, because you can't get it all from the quest, but you get the bulk of the. I think you get the bulk of the favor from the quest, because challenges are only worth up to 6 favor, and that's assuming you 6-star them. Which for the lower level ones, the heroic ones, is pretty easy to do. Well, some of them are actually impossible, or I guess mathematically impossible to do. But if you want to get the Artificer through favor, you probably need to buy both packs, which may not actually be a better investment than just buying the Artificer, depending on if you want to run that stuff or not.
Right.
Other account stuff that you can get, the Favored Soul class is 2,500 total favor, which, especially these days, is not hard to get at all. You can get 32-point builds and a +2 tome at 1,750 favor. Vet status 4, which lets you create a character at level 4, is 1,000 total favor, which is really easy to get. Vet status 7, which lets you create a character at level 7, is 3,000 favor, which is a little harder to get, but it's totally doable. And the Drow race is 400 favor, which is very reasonable. Don't buy Drow from the store. Just get the favor.
The only race I didn't buy.
Yeah, you don't have to buy that one. It's really easy to get 400 favor. It takes hardly any time at all. You'll get it easy, no problem. Same with 1,000 favor for Vet status 4. I challenge anyone to get from level 1 to 20 without getting 1,000 favor.
It's possible. It's very difficult to have less than 1,000 favor.
You pretty much have to stay in wilderness areas.
A lot of it, yes.
So that's something. Character rewards. You can get more backpack space. You can get 2 slots from Coin Lord favor at 75 and 150 favor, and you get 2 more bank slots as well with House K favor. Same rewards at 75 and 150. And in both of those cases, you can get the first benchmark just from free quests. You will need to get some content to get the second benchmark.
Actually, there's enough free-to-play quests for both of them that you could get the second benchmark favor. It would be well, especially with the House K favor, it would be difficult, but it is possible.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. The issue about the House K though, with the wait a minute, I'm sorry.
That's the
wrong, I got that wrong. The backpack space. The issue you've got with the Coin Lord favor tier 2 is you have to also get a portable hole, which, from what I've seen, it's an extremely rare drop. I think I've pulled 2 from chests in 5 years.
I get them all the time, to be honest.
Okay.
I usually get at least.
I'm lousy rolling then.
I usually get at least 1 as I'm leveling up character if I'm doing that. You can also get 1 from if you get 75 favor from the Agents of Argonescent, you can get a portable hole. Also with that, you can get shards for feed exchanges. You can also crunch feed exchange shards in game. You don't necessarily have to buy them. It might take you a while to crunch all the shards. It's a lot of crunching for higher level shards, but it's totally doable.
And then you find them on the auction house sometimes.
Yep, you can do that. You can find them in chests too. Yeah. It's also worth noting that you can every 100 favor, you get some free turbine points. You also get every time you reach a major or a quote major benchmark in total favor on a server, you get a pile of turbine points. So you can get quite a bit there. I know some people that basically just roll up an alt, get 100 to 200 favor, which they can knock out pretty fast, and then they just delete the character and redo it.
Yep.
I used some folks early on that were doing that.
Well, when I first started the game, I actually went ahead and I mean, you can knock it out with like 2 quests with a first level character. You go in, um, you know, part of it you consider, well, if you're doing this with free or premium account, unless you're grouping with someone who's a VIP, you're probably going to be unlocking stuff starting on normal. So basically, you go in with a first level character on each server, run the first 2 or 3 quests, get yourself 5 favor. 5 favor gets you 25 turbine points first time on a server. Or no, sorry, 50 first time on a server. You got 7 servers. You do that, you get 350 turbine points. So you can really quickly get yourself a little bit of turbine points to kick it off.
Yeah, there's a lot of other benchmarks too. I think 100 is the first time benchmark. So there's some other places where you can get some extra tournament points that
Yeah,
way.
there's like 5 points, 25 points, 50, and then I think it's like every 100 after that. You get
Maybe
like 25 points.
it might actually be a little bit larger of a benchmark too. I know it doesn't matter. Every character, every 100 favor you get 25 points. And then there's like one-time benchmarks per server. So you
Oh,
can get some stuff for that.
ye- yeah, right.
Let's see. Hearts of Wood you can actually get in game as well. You can get heroic true hearts with tokens of the 12, and then you get iconic and epic hearts by getting combinations of valor. Um, you do need a fair number of combinations of valor, probably a lot more than you're going to get by running from 20 to 28. But the heroic hearts of the tokens of the 12 are pretty easy to get. You can get those pretty easily, so that can save you a pile of turbine points as well.
Because those hearts aren't cheap.
Yeah, hearts are definitely not cheap. There's actually kind of a funny thing in game. It takes 20 tokens of the 12 to get a heroic true heart of wood, which costs what 1,400, 1,500 turbine points, something like that in the store.
Something like that. Yeah.
Um, and you can get augments. Augments in the store are cost something like at most 200, or at least not the new Ruby Eye ones, but the other kind of ones that you get with the tokens of the 12. Uh, costs something like 200 turbine points for the high ones.
Hmm.
But they cost the same number of tokens to the 12, so there's kind of a weird disparity there.
Sounds like somebody didn't do the math at Turbine.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny little thing that's going on. So let's talk about things that you probably shouldn't buy from the store.
Well, I until I went VIP, I didn't get any cosmetics, and I've only gotten a couple since. Because as far as the gameplay and what benefit you actually would get out of it, yeah, you don't get anything really. No, but no benefit.
Yeah, at least not game wise. And it's not to totally knock cosmetics. I know a lot of people really like cosmetics. I don't. I mean, they're kind of fun, but I don't really feel a need to spend turbine points on them. But they're there, and if you want to buy them, you can. Just remember, you're not
Hmm.
going to get any benefit other than how you look. They're just cosmetic.
Right.
With the exception, there's actually a few. It's actually not entirely true. There's a few things that you can get a little bit of a benefit from. Like I think the party hats give you a haggle bonus. The spider mask gives you a +1 to skills. There's just a few things that kind of do that, but it's a very, very small bonus. And in a lot of cases, it's not like the haggle bonus for the
Yeah,
party hats. It doesn't stack with other equipment. So
yeah, and lots of times you can get other equipment easily that'll handle that. I mean, another thing that, and I've never bought any is out of the store is gear. And this is probably more something, not so much a tip for just anybody that's free or premium, but basically anybody that's new to the game. Don't buy weapons, don't buy gear out of the store really, because you're going to find that you can very quickly get better gear in game just by running quests.
yeah, I buy augments if I find that I'm looking for a specific augment and I really want to get it and I don't happen to have it. But that's it. Like I don't weapons and armor. Don't buy them from the store. Please don't buy them.
Yeah.
People on the forums have been asking for those to get removed. Period. They're just there's no reason for them to even be there. You get starter equipment for one. Um, even if you were creating a character that was coming in at level 4 or 7 or whatever, 15 for iconics, you get gear that's better than anything you can buy in the store anyways. Don't buy weapons and armor from the store. Save your money.
I agree.
So let's talk about some other just kind of random tips, and I'll let you start this off.
Okay. All right. One thing is a tip for how to benefit. This is a workaround for the fact that free and premium can only open quests on normal the first time you're through. You got to go through progression normally. You have to open on normal first, then you can do hard once you've completed normal, and then once you complete hard, you can open on elite. Well, if you're grouping with people, you can always open the quest on the highest level available to someone in the quest. So it can be either a situation of it can be another free or premium account that already has run the quest on normal and hard. They're ready to go in and run it on elite. You can jump in with them. Even though it's your first time, you can run it elite. Then, or if you group with someone that's a VIP, and this can be if you got a full group of 6 and only one of them's a VIP, you can get that quest opened on elite. And then once you complete it on elite the first time, you can go back in and do the others whenever you want, even if you're going to solo them.
There's a lot of people that will actually put in their LFM posts that they're looking for someone to open something on elite. And a lot of times even if that person's not going to run with them, they might hop in the group and let them get in and get started, kind of thing.
Yeah, because technically, once you get somebody to come in there and open it for you, they could leave, and once you're in the quest, you can stay in it, and then as long as you finish it, you're good. You don't have to ask for somebody to open that up again for you. And then, of course, you've also got with True Reincarnation. On your second life, you can open on hard. On your third life, you can open on elite.
And so you also noted that in the notes that you can make a second free-to-play account, and you can just pike a guy through a quest on the difficulty, and then just invite that character to your group, and you can open stuff. You basically create a workaround, an opener for different quests in that manner, which also works for quests that I'll point out even for VIPs. There's certain quests that you need to get, quote, flags to open, but only one person needs to have them. The capstone quests in each of the Necro 4 quests, or quest chains, is a good example of that. People will actually just have an opener for Shadow Crypt and Bloody Crypt and stuff like that. And you can do the same thing with that. So you have an account just dedicated to having a way to open different accounts. And you get some free mule space too. So.
Right. Yeah, you can do that. And now I went ahead and did this when I first got Vet Status 1, which actually at the time it was only called Vet Status because they didn't have Vet 2. But I think first character I made with Vet 4, I was like, I need to go get my favor so I can get my next bank slot open. So I go in and start running stuff, and I ran through the normal, hard, elite, and going through that. And I was like, wait a minute, I can create a second account for free. So I did that and started bringing this character along, and then anytime I rolled up a vet after that, I was like, okay, we're going to go run all the real low-level stuff that I've already got unlocked for elite, and I only have to run it once to get the favor.
Yep. How about your next point?
Okay, when you're buying your turbine points, this is definitely a tip. If you do a quick calculation on it, you can see pretty easily that the more turbine points you buy at a time, the less it's going to cost you per turbine point. So whenever you go to buy turbine points, try to buy as much as you can at once. Don't buy the 600 turbine points for $8. Get the whatever the $50 bundle is, or actually I don't think they do the 50 anymore. I think it's a 61 now. But if you can manage to afford that, save your money a little bit until you got enough to get the larger amount of turbine points. Obviously, this is just for premium because once you buy turbine points, you're premium.
Well, you even at premium though, you're still probably going to buy. But even VIPs buy points too. So.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. This is not a tip for a free account because technically, once you buy turbine points, you no longer have a free account.
True. And talking about that, if you any dollar purchase, including expansion packs, will upgrade you from free to play to premium. And you can still no, I'm gonna make it easier. You have to buy it with money. You have to actually buy the expansion packs from the DDO marketplace, which we'll link in the show notes. But you can still get some of the expansion pack bundles, and in particular, Menace of the Underdark, which if you just buy the content in the store, it costs 250 or sorry, 2,500 turbine points. The basic pack is $20, and it includes Epic Destinies and a lesser tome of learning, a heroic tome. If you get the 35 standard pack, you get the Attack on Stormreach pack, both IQ adventure packs, the Fionn Carnival adventure pack, Druids, 1,000 turbine points, Veteran 4 status, and Evening Star challenges. In addition to that, so if you're gonna, particularly if you're looking at making your first purchase, or you're kind of new to the game, and Motu is if you're gonna play in Epics, you're gonna want Motu anyway.
Yes.
There's a lot of content there. It's basically the access to Evening Star, which is more content, even if it's free to play. You need that pack. So look at getting the packs themselves. But I don't recommend getting either the Druid or the Half-Orc packs. Those ones are lame. They're a waste of money. They're not a very good deal. Don't get those.
Yeah, they're not really worth it. I think you save a little. If I remember right, there's like a pack that includes wasn't there one that includes the Druid, the Half-Orc, and the Half-Elf?
I didn't see that one when I was looking. It was just there was one that had the Half-Orc and a couple of goodies, and the Druid and a couple of goodies, but they each cost $20.
Yeah, I think a while back when I looked, there was actually, and let me double check this here. Okay, yeah, there's a Half-Blood bundle, which is basically 1,800 turbine points. This gives you Half-Orc and Half-Elf. Oh, this is what I was thinking of, was the Half-Blood Champion bundle. This will give you Half-Orc, Half-Elf, and unlocks the 32-point build option on all the servers. So that one's about 2,800 turbine points. So that kind of works out to be, if those are something that you're wanting all of it, then it might work out if you're going with the turbine points. Now, I believe what Patrick was talking about was the actual dollar purchase through the turbine market. But if you're doing through turbine points through the DDO store, then yeah, that works out over there. So if you're wanting everything, but you don't necessarily need all races and classes. All right, a couple other tips that I've got to bring along here. You can wait for DDO store sales. If you don't need something right away, try to wait for sales. You're going to find that nearly everything that shows up on that you might want to get from the DDO store will eventually have a sale, usually for around 20% off at some point. So definitely save your money there. Also, when purchasing turbine points for actual money, you've got they frequently have a double bonus points. So basically, it's like a sale on turbine points. You don't pay less, but you get more turbine points than you normally would for the amount. So that's another thing that helps out.
I don't know if they still do this, but when they originally released the expansion packs, when you bought it, you had an option to buy like 11,000 turbine points for $60 or something like that. It was a really good deal.
Yeah, there was a really good deal on that one.
I don't know if you can still get those.
Don't know. I haven't looked that one up lately.
See, is there anything else to?
I don't think we mentioned about, or maybe we kind of did and everything. Something to think about is if you've got a free account. We did say that you do get upgraded to premium just by making an actual purchase. But the benefits you get on that is you do get 2 more character slots. which that itself is worth 1,250 turbine points there. So, kind of consider that into as a bonus into what you're purchasing when you make your first purchase.
I'm trying to remember. There's a difference in the level of support you can get in game. I'm not sure if they give in-game support to free to play or premium.
I think premium, you've got a certain time frame after your last actual turbine point purchase.
Okay.
That they give you. I honestly don't remember for sure.
Yeah, it's something that I've ever paid attention to very much either. But just know that if you're not VIP, your access to in-game support may be fairly limited.
Yes.
Which most of the time isn't a big issue, but it's something.
I don't think I've ever had to. I've had to do like an in-game ticket once in a while for something, but I don't think I've really had to contact support for much.
Well, I think you can get support outside of the game. I think it's just the in-game support that you have problems. You're not going to have access to.
Could be.
Anything else we want to add in here?
Yeah, if you want to keep up with what the sales are in the DDO store, it's a good idea to, if you're on Twitter, to follow at DDO store. And sometimes at DDO Unlimited might be a good one, because like this past week, the DDO store Twitter account didn't announce what came up on sale, or at least I didn't see it, but I did see it on DDO Unlimited.
They also usually list that in the dev tracker on the forums as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple ways to get
it. You can also find out that information from DDOCast.
Yeah. We usually try and get the sales in every week. And also on the calendar. You can watch the calendar for that stuff as well.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's close. Let's close by saying, if you were gonna buy something, what's the most important thing you should buy?
I would say the most important thing to buy would be adventure packs. And if I had to pick one adventure pack to buy, I would personally, I think I might go with Demon Sands or Nectarin.
Okay. I would say
I kind of like the undead fighting a little more than the giants.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say if you're gonna buy one thing, I would say go on the marketplace and buy the standard Meta Standard Arc expansion pack. Caveat, if you're gonna be playing at higher level epic content. If you're just gonna tool around in heroic, it's not something you necessarily need to concern yourself with. But for the $35, if you make the conversion for $1 for one turbine point, which, yes, I know, as people have pointed out, it's not necessarily the best conversion, but it's an easy one as far as math is concerned. And it's depending on what you buy, what packs you buy, it's fairly accurate. You're talking about $35 gets you 4 packs plus. I know like the Epic Destinies and Druids and EV Star challenges are like 1,000 turbine points each. Plus you're getting content that costs 2,500 turbine points. So it's a really good screaming deal for what you get if it's stuff that you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing I would say if you're going to buy something, start there. Which also upgrades you from free to play to premium. So, but again, it depends. A lot of this depends on what are you going to run. Don't
right, and that's a big thing. That's a big thing to consider. Is what are you going to run?
And I suppose we should mention too, there are guest passes in the game. So if you have a friend, they can buy you a guest pass for content they own, and take you along for the ride. Of course, you have to find someone who's willing to spend turbine points to take you along for the ride. So that's
true.
And the guest passes are actually very reasonably priced. They're not very expensive.
Yeah, I think they're like 25 turbine points usually.
It depends on the content. It depends on the length of guest pass you get. So that's an option as well if you want to try stuff. Make some friends if you want to. With that, I think, unless you have anything you want to add, at the end here, we'll move on into what we've been doing. Why don't you start us off with that?
Yep, sorry, I just realized I hit the mute. uh, well, my static group just hit level 18. We meet once a week, going through that. Really got the hang of being a tank, the main tank now, which you'd think by level 18 I would. Um, we are discussing whether we want to continue these characters up to level cap or if we want to TR them. Not sure yet. We're still back and forth on that. We've got a little time because with the way these characters are running, we're going to need to actually earn the Heart of Wood for this. So we're going to have to do at least a little bit of epic content if we do. So that's been the static group. Mainly I've been playing an Artificer lately for my character. Just I don't know. I guess my altitis kicked in and decided I wanted to try something else again. I've got him up to level 11 now.
It's a fun class.
Yeah, it is. I'm really enjoying it. And I've kind of gotten a new goal now because I've gotten a bit spread out on some of my characters. I've got vet status 1 and 2, so I kind of want to try to see if I can get it to where I've got a character at about every 3 or 4 levels through the game. So, like levels 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on. Excuse me. And try to maintain something along like that. That way, when groups come up, I can be like, oh, hey, let me grab this character to jump in on that group because he's the right level.
Yeah. I did some of the new raids this week. Although I'd say the Fire Peaks raid I've enjoyed for the pretty much enjoyed it straight out through a little bit of lag. But I had a couple runs with the Deathworm raid that were really frustrating. One we did it on Epic Elite. We got to the very end and the dragon got, which was a chore just to get to the end, and then the dragon got stuck on an invisible object and we couldn't get it to the middle. Yeah, and that was after like 3 or 4 hours worth of playing. We had some problems getting the right phylactery. We had some pretty lousy luck there. And then I did another one, and it just, once the shadow spawned the first time, we just got a complete lag lock instance crash. Which, if there's anything in this game that is a major buzzkill for me, and I know for a lot of other people too, just lag spikes where it just completely crashes the instance. Man, someone at Turbine fix that. It needs to go away. It's been here. Menace to the Underdark, when that launched, was really kind of when it, I think, really started hitting in. But it was one of those things where if everyone was dead, no lag. As soon as someone stepped into the area, boom, lag. Can't move at all. Done.
Yeah.
So that was a really lousy experience. And like I said, it was a complete buzzkill. Like I was looking to run a couple of raids, run some of the new stuff. Yeah. After that, I was done. Yeah. I went to some other stuff for about an hour, and then I locked off. So really hate running into that really big pain in the butt. And like I said, buzzkill, major buzzkill.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm fine with, like, I can accept a certain amount of lag. I know there's going to be lag in the game, but I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that lag shouldn't completely crash an instance like that repeatedly, just like that. So we'll move on to some posts. This came from Brendan, commenting on our website. He said he's a long-time D&D player since, I think DDO player since beta, and he's had numerous builds, tunes, and he had a couple questions. The first question was, he hears the term one-trick pony being thrown about on this show. That's me for the most part, throwing that around. He's curious if I would consider a straight barb with no cross classes in this category. I guess my question is, if the character is contributing DPS to a party and has ways of breaking DR, are they really considered a one-trick pony? Because we all know that barbs are limited once they rage and are, for obvious reasons, seem to me to at least be unidimensional toward DPS. The answer to your question is yes, I would consider that a one-trick pony. And two, barbs can do a lot more than just DPS. And this might be something that people would consider to be a bit of splitting hairs. But there's a difference between what I would call an off tank and a tank DPS. There's differences in how you apply yourself to DPS. If all you can do as a barbarian is stand somewhere and swing your sword, you need to think about how you're playing it. Not all kind of one trick pony things that I throw out necessarily mean you need to re-roll. Maybe it just means you need to change your play style. Um, and I don't consider DPS to be a playstyle. Um, that's not that can be a goal to have high DPS, but it's not just a playstyle. And I think even a pure barbarian can have a secondary and even a tertiary kind of abilities they can do. So, for example, the way that I have my barbarian built, he has 2 levels of fighter. Mostly just extra feats, but the primary focus for him is two-handed weapons with high number crits. That's kind of the way I first started building him. The second thing I have him built to do is tank. So, like I said, there's a difference between just doing DPS and being able to tank something. No, he's not actually the best tank in the world, but he has that as a dimensionality to him. So it's not. You can have a barbarian that is multidimensional. It's not just DPS. And again, there's also the aspect of how do you play your DPS as well. It can be a big thing. If things get into trouble, even a raging barbarian can kite some stuff around. Intimidate as a skill can be a really effective tool to use. Now again, you may not be the best kiter, you may not be the best self-healer, you may not be the best tank in the world, but the fact that you can do that stuff as opposed to just standing there and swinging a weapon at the backside of a boss, that's another dimension to that character. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, I agree. Any character, you always need to have something as a backup ability that you can do. If you can only focus on one capability, regardless of what your class is or your build or anything, then yeah, maybe you're going to end up being the best possible at that one ability, but there's always going to be something out there that ability is not going to work on, and you're going to have to be able to do something else to be effective.
Yeah, and I want to make a distinction here too. When I'm talking about a one-trick pony, you know, at being a two-trick pony, you may not be very good at the other trick. You know, it's you're not. I'm not necessarily saying that every character has to be able to do 3 things really well. I'm saying, do one thing really well. That's your primary focus.
Mm-hmm.
Have a secondary thing that you can do. Whether that's tanking, as opposed, being someone who does a lot of DPS is more what you consider an off tank, and being able to switch into a tanking mode. Those are 2 things. That's not a one-trick pony, right?
Nope.
And my barbarian switches some gear around if I have to tank, and that's totally fine. And he takes a lot of damage as a tank. I'm not gonna lie, he's not an AC tank. He doesn't have a ton of PRR and a ton of AC or anything. He's a barbarian. He gets hit a lot. He hits hard back, but at the same time, he can tank. He can stay alive tanking. So that I would consider that a second trick.
Yeah. Well, my main tank in my static group, he is an AC tank. His biggest strength is he is designed to get in there, get the aggro, keep the aggro, and not take much damage. That is his biggest thing. But I've got a couple of things on there, so if our high DPS guy goes down, I can still manage to keep things, keep fighting, and probably manage to, at least, unless, not necessarily with a boss, but I could probably wipe out a small group of trash by myself until we can get our high DPS back.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff too is it's not just how you build stuff. There's how you play is a big part of what you can do as a character in the game. Like I said, I have kited on my barbarian. Use intimidate to grab some stuff and run it around.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge the way that you play your character. Look for other things that you can do that can be supportive of your party and be effective. There's, just taking a barbarian in or a fighter or whatever, and if stuff's going south, don't just stand in and try and fight. If you're Fall of Truth, say if people start dying, don't just stand there and try and take on 3 dragons at once. That's being a one-trick pony. You stand there. I'm a DPSer, so I'm going to DPS this dragon here, even though there's 2 other dragons. Run around. Like, you can do other things.
Yep.
So it's not just how you build characters, it's also how you play a character. His second question, on the discussion of battle mages, at one point he built a 12 wizard, 6 rogue, or 2 rogue, 6 fighter that used divine power cookies to raise his base attack bonus. He never took him any farther into epic content. He was curious how sustainable it is to rely on divine power for your base attack bonus, and would you be able to actually produce DPS that can actually contribute to epic content? Um, so here's the thing, divine power can be really useful. Um, I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest. You don't. I don't find that hitting is necessarily a difficult thing to do. And as a wizard, there's some things you can do to raise your attack bonus. Again, attack bonus is generally something. There's a few monsters in the game that have really high AC, but most of the time I don't ever find hitting things to be that big of a deal or that much of a challenge. So I wouldn't say that you need to have divine power cookies in epic content. And the other thing is divine power clickies, unless you're carrying a lot of clickies, they're not going to go very far. Particularly if you're trying to do some raids, some of the raids can take an hour, hour and a half. Some of the quests can take an hour, hour and a half, depending how good you guys are and how much trouble you're having. So 10 divine power clickies lasting a minute and a half each ain't going to get you very far. Now, the spell is really handy if you have divine levels and you can cast the spell. But I don't think you need to. I don't think it's necessarily very sustainable to rely on divine power clickies for your base attack bonus. But I wouldn't. I don't think it's necessarily going to have a major impact on your ability to be effective in epic content. Aaron, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
I don't have a whole lot of experience with Epic, but yeah, just in general, the concept of, if you've got long quests that you're going to be on, you're going to be limited on relying on clickies.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways to buff your base attack bonus. So I don't think you have too much problem with it. You might have a little bit of problems, and if you're running in bigger, maybe if you're doing raid on Epic Elite, you're probably gonna have a bard or an artificer, or some people that can raise your attack bonus by being in the area. So there's ways to get around that. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. The survey question of the week, Jay asks, what was your first character and what happened to them? My first character was a barbarian warforged, which is still my main. But I switched. Basically, what happened is the people I was running with on one of the servers kind of left the game, and I wasn't really finding a lot of people I wanted to run with. And I also kind of learned some things from my first couple iterations of the character and a couple other characters I rolled up. So I basically changed servers to try and find more people to run with, and at the same time kind of reboot what I had. So that character still exists somewhere. I'm not even sure what server he's on because I didn't pay attention to where he went on the server merge. What about you, Ecgric?
Believe my first character in the game was a Elven Bard. I think it was on Argo. If I remember right, I started out on Argoness, and what happened to him, I don't know. I think I got him maybe around levels 3 or 4, somewhere there, before I decided to change over to the server because I just couldn't seem to find people to group with on Argoness.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we close out the show here?
No, just if you're gonna have a free or premium account, just use a little planning and get the most you can out of it.
Indeed. With that, I'll say thanks to Ecgric for joining me on the cast week. A good discussion. I hope that's helpful to a lot of folks. Thanks to other folks that are being guests on the show and contributing to the show. Thanks for those who are sending emails and being supportive and all that stuff. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks to Turbine and Wizards for contributing to a great, fun game. And thanks to Cyberbears for hosting the podcast. You can hit us up at DDOCast.com for show notes, our calendar, previous shows, swag, and other fun stuff. If you want to be a part of the show, you just want to say hi, you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media and follow us for latest cast updates there. The closing tip from the week comes from Orion. It says create a mouse macro that uses backspace, wait 50 milliseconds, and U. That's to pick stuff up a little more quickly. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chests never pervert, have fun, and don't forget to watch for the sales.